have no idea what you're saying." That one sentence might describe the biggest problem humans have ever had to solve. Bigger than fire, bigger than the wheel. We figured it out tens of thousands of years before writing, before mathematics, and even before anyone thought to draw a stick figure on a cave wall. And how did we do it? Brilliantly. Although sometimes it turned into complete chaos. Stick around, because the ending of this story has a twist that even many linguists find a little unsettling, in a good way. Scientists believe modern humans developed complex spoken language somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago. Before that, our ancestors were basically playing an extremely high-stakes game of charades. Gestures, facial expressions, grunts, and the occasional dramatic "look over there and point." Effective? Sometimes. Fast? Not really. Then something changed. Our brains evolved enough to connect a sound with an idea. A random noise stopped being just noise. It could suddenly mean fire, food, or run. Here's what still keeps linguists awake at night. Nobody knows what humanity's first word actually was. It's gone. Forever. Writing wouldn't appear for another 95,000 years, so there was no way to record it. We will genuinely never know if the first human word was something meaningful, like danger, or something painfully relatable, like ow. Whatever it was, it gave humans a superpower no other species has ever fully mastered: the ability to pass detailed knowledge from one generation to the next. Not just, "that's dangerous," but "here's why it's dangerous, here's how to avoid it, and here's what my grandfather told me about it." That's the entire foundation civilization runs on. One idea, passed from mouth to mouth for thousands of generations. But wait, if every human on Earth came from the same small group of ancestors, why do we now have more than 7,000 languages? Shouldn't we all still be speaking the same one? The answer is almost ridiculously simple. People kept moving. Groups wandered into forests, crossed deserts, climbed mountains, and sailed to islands. Once people became separated, their speech slowly started changing. A new word here, a slightly different pronunciation there. Give it a few hundred generations, and two groups that once spoke exactly the same language can't understand a single sentence from each other. Basically, language is the world's oldest game of broken telephone, and it happened accidentally over and over again across the planet. Imagine the first meeting between two groups that had been separated for generations. One hunter points at a mammoth. The second guy smiles and nods. The third guy is now completely convinced everyone just agreed to invade the next village. Early diplomacy was complicated. Somewhere out there, an entire war may have started because someone pointed at a woolly mammoth and someone else thought it was a metaphor. But humans are incredibly good at spotting patterns. Instead of giving up, people watched each other carefully. If someone made the same sound every time they pointed at water, eventually everyone understood what it meant. And that's exactly how children learn language today, by connecting words to actions, not by memorizing a dictionary. Here's something most people don't know. Every baby on Earth is born able to hear and distinguish the sounds of every language on the planet, even languages they will never hear around them. Japanese babies can hear the difference between R and L. So can babies growing up around languages that use clicking sounds, like kosa. But around 12 months old, the brain starts specializing. It focuses on the language the child hears every day and begins removing the distinctions it no longer needs. That's why certain foreign sounds become so difficult for adults to hear or pronounce. Every adult struggling with a foreign accent was once a tiny, undefeated language genius. Somewhere between infancy and adulthood, we all got downgraded. But the real breakthrough came from something nobody planned: mixed families. When people from different tribes had children together, those children grew up hearing two languages every single day. They switched between them without even thinking. They became humanity's first translators, thousands of years before dictionaries, schools, or Google Translate. Bilingual toddlers were solving international relations before international relations even existed. Trade pushed this even further. People moved animal skins, obsidian, salt, shells, and rare stones across hundreds of miles. Archaeologists can actually trace where these materials originally came from, which means humans weren't just trading objects, they were trading words. And probably a huge amount of confusion. The first business negotiation in human history may have gone something like this. I'll give you 2 animal skins. What? 2. Congratulations on your marriage. Somewhere, a caveman accidentally got engaged because of a mispronounced number. And honestly, modern dating apps haven't improved this system as much as we'd like to believe. Now here's where things get genuinely strange. There is a language called Piraha, spoken by a small community in the Amazon. It has no words for exact numbers, no 1, 2, or 3. Instead, it uses rough concepts like a few and many. It also has no words for basic colors, and some researchers argue that it doesn't organize ideas inside other ideas the way many languages do. It challenged assumptions that many linguists thought were almost impossible to break. Then there's Silbo Gomero, a whistled language from La Gomera in the Canary Islands. Farmers developed it to communicate across deep valleys and mountain landscapes. It's essentially a whistled version of Spanish that can travel more than 2 miles. No cell signal required, centuries before mobile phones existed. And across parts of southern Africa, languages like Xhosa and Zulu use actual clicking sounds as consonants, clicks woven directly into everyday words. Same species, same starting point 100,000 years ago, completely different ways of saying hello. So if language evolves differently every single time, is there anything connecting all 7,000 plus languages? Or did humanity just create permanent chaos? The answer surprises linguists the most. Despite thousands of languages, almost all of them follow remarkably similar patterns. Every language has ways to name people and objects, describe actions, ask questions, talk about the past and future, and tell stories. Your brain is literally built for language, no matter which one you grew up speaking. There is also a gene called FOXP2, sometimes nicknamed the language gene. Certain mutations of this gene can cause serious speech and grammar difficulties in humans today. Researchers have also found that Neanderthals carried a very similar version. Were we not the only human species capable of speech? Here's the part that isn't funny. Around 40% of the world's languages are considered endangered today. Some estimates suggest one language disappears roughly every few weeks as its last fluent speakers pass away. When a language disappears, an entire way of understanding the world disappears with it. Jokes, proverbs, ways of measuring time, and ways of describing family. This isn't ancient history. It's happening right now. But here's the twist that should genuinely give you chills. In Nicaragua during the 1980s, deaf children were brought together in a school for the first time. They had no shared sign language. The adults around them didn't have a complete system of communication either. Nobody sat them down and taught them grammar. But within a single generation, on the playground, without teachers, those children created a brand new language with its own grammar. Linguists watched it happen in real time. It's called Nicaraguan Sign Language, and it is one of the only moments in recorded history where scientists witnessed a language being born. Which means the story you just heard about humans slowly building language from gestures, sounds, and pointing over thousands of years isn't just ancient history. It's not finished. It wasn't a one-time miracle that happened 150,000 years ago. It's a switch inside every human brain, a switch that turns on when it's needed. And it already happened again, during your parents' lifetime, on a school playground with no teacher at all. So the next time someone says, "I have no idea what you're saying," don't get frustrated. That confusion, that's the raw material. That's literally the first step of the same process that created every language, every story, every joke, and everything you've ever loved, out of absolutely nothing. Which fact surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments, in whatever language you want.